I've been here all night. Ariana. I've been here all day.
Hi, welcome to my channel. I decided to do a story time for y'all today. I haven't did one in a while. So today's story time is gonna be about exes. No, I wouldn't say exes. I'll just say the story time will be about red flags. I know I did a story time a little similar, but this one is basically some situations that have arisen. Is that a word? Well, okay. Once upon a time, there was a girl and a boy. Okay, they were together for almost 10 years. Okay, and there was a separation there, and after the separation, they moved to two different places. They were staying together, but they moved to two different places. Okay, when they moved to the two different places, it was bittersweet. There was no confusion really or whatever. But later on, a few months later, they decided they're gonna, try to work things out, or at least be on the same accord. So, this is a true story, y'all. So I ain't gonna say boy and girl no more. The boy and girl was me and my ex or whatever. So it got to where he would say, okay, well, let's kick it. And I'll say, okay, come on, let's, whatever, come on. And as soon as I said that, he would immediately be like, throwing out these excuses. So I'm like, really? Okay. Okay, whatever. The first time. Okay. The second time it was another excuse. Third time it was another excuse. And you would think by now I was off it. Which finally I was. I was off it. And then he was acting strange or whatever. So we go over to a mutual friend's house, me and my friend, and him and this chick drives up. Okay, him and his chick drive up that I've been hearing about. So I'm like, oh, that's why you've been acting strange or whatever. So I'm like, okay. So then there was words exchanged. Well, I was doing the exchanging of the words because I feel like, don't try to play me. It's no reason to play me. You tell the truth. We're not together. So a few hours later, he calls me like, why'd you act like that? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, what? Don't speak to me when you went to somebody else, when you just lied to me earlier that day about her or whatever. So I didn't have nothing to say. So maybe a few days later, now I had been with this man for 10 years, okay? So I knew his every make move, his shower times, and everything. So I got kind of tipsy. I don't drink, but I had a little bitty 99-cent bottle. And I had drank that. So I'm like, let me call him up, see what he's on. I wasn't trying to invite him over or nothing. We would talk. So I'm like, let me see what he's on. And he rushes me. Yeah, so he rushes me off the phone, right? He's like, I'm about to take a shower. So, excuse the quality. I had to switch cameras for a second. But he's like, I'm about to take a shower real quick. It's like 12 o'clock, okay? He's like, I'm gonna take a shower real quick and I'll call you right back. So I'm like, these aren't your shower hours, Negro. But whatever. So I'm like, he on BS, so I'm not even finna answer his call when he called me back. So I'm like, okay, he wants to play games. forget it. I forgot what I was doing. I was playing a game or something. So I'm like, okay. I'm like, whatever. So, he calls back. The phone rings, and I looks at it. And, I'm like, whatever. And I was like, well, I'm not answering. So he never leaves me voicemails, guys. So I'm like, okay, I got a voicemail notification. So I'm like, what is this? So tell me why. I get the voicemail, right? And the voicemail was like a minute and something long. And there was moaning on it. There was a chick on it moaning. It was him at the end. I heard him saying something, but I couldn't make it out. I was devastated. I was devastated because I was like, are you serious? Like right now, are you really kidding me? So I started calling the phone. I'm like, oh, that's what we on now. And I sent it to her. I sent it to him. I'm like, I told her, because we had a conversation before. And I'm like, you know what? You can have him. I'm done. I'm like, I will never contact you again about him. You can have him, blah, blah, blah. And he's playing a dumb role. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? So I'm like, okay. To this day, he says it was his nephew, girl. He said it was his nephew, but his nephew has a phone. And if his nephew had company, why would his nephew even want his phone? Makes no sense at all. So maybe a week ago, I'm like, I'm sorry, y'all. So like a week ago, he goes, they're in the little car club. So I'm like, okay. And then I found out later she's in the car club. So I'm like, let's have a meeting, you, me, and her, and let's get it all on the table. Since you don't got nothing going on with her, let's get it out on the table. So, he's like, no, it's irrelevant. It's irrelevant to have a meeting. What we gonna have a meeting for, and all that, blah blah blah. And I'm like, dude, really? Okay, it's fine. So the next day, around like later that night, like 8, and the next day, I get an inbox. She inboxes me. She goes, when do you want to have this meeting, Nakisha? And I'm like, oh, okay, whenever, because I can't stand being lied to, y'all. Like, that's like a pet peeve of mine. Like, there's no reason to lie. It's just total conversation. Like, why do you lie? You're not with me. We're not together. So why would you lie about it? So I told her whenever. She said she'll be off or whatever, like next week. So I'm like, okay, fine, But he knows that she don't mess with people that either still got feelings for their ex or whatever. So that was the case. So to this day, she hasn't, as far as I know, she won't answer his calls. She won't even answer my calls, okay? And she gave me all this information, like, yeah, we messed around for a while. We did this, we did that. And I was like, okay. It didn't hurt me because I already knew. But he still says, it wasn't me. I said, okay, whatever. Sorry, y'all. I'm looking at my other device. But I'm like, okay, whatever. It's not you. Whatever. So, I'm like, dang, I'm like, was she over that Super Bowl Sunday? I'm asking little bitty stuff that he's just lying about. And it really, I found out a lot of stuff, like a whole lot. And it was like, wow, stuff that I didn't even know. And it was like, cool beans, yo. Like, I didn't know. You're sitting here lying. You're accusing me of your cousin. which will never happen. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, you did all that for what? I'm not supposed to live my life though. You tell me I'm yours forever. Like, who does that? So, but you could do it. You could do it. And nothing could be said about it. It wasn't you. Because I remember walking up on a conversation with him and my brothers, and they were like, he was like, well, I will never, if I got caught on tape, it wasn't me. I'm like, really? Okay. So basically, you're going to take it to the grave, whatever you do. So, and then it goes back to, okay, I want to come see you, we need to talk, we need to kick it. Maybe we'll be, we could be getting back cool, blah, blah, blah. He never makes it. He tells me, well, I'm walking up the stairs. First and foremost, he goes everywhere else he wants to go, okay? But his license was messed up. But before his license was messed up, he would still do it. He got his license back. Now it's the insurance thing. Do you know how many people drive without insurance? Yeah. So I'm sitting here and I'm like, okay. He goes, well, I'm going to go upstairs and, put the groceries up. This was around 11:04, and this man didn't call me back till like 4 hours later. Let's do that. He called me back 4 hours later, and I wasn't answering because I'm like, why? Why am I answering? You're on games. I don't have time for games. You will never be friends, basically, and the years we had were just wasting of my time, So he goes, I'm trying to come see, he inboxing me, I'm trying to come see you, answer. I'm ready to go to bed now. So I'm like, dude, really? And he ended up, calling. I end up calling, and he's like, well, I'm drunk. Yeah, of course you are. We know you're drunk. And I want to come and I'm drunk and I want to, but I'm too drunk to drive. And don't get me wrong. I understand that you're drunk, but you knew you were going to come regardless, if you were going to drive regardless. So it's like, why would you wait till 3 a.m. and 4 hours you wait to call me? That was a problem. Like, you are a liar from your gut. Like, ooh, you bad with it. So I'm like, yeah. So that's my little story time for the little lying ex thing. It's like, but the person says, oh, I love you so much. I miss you so much. But they can never get to you. Like 7 months, they could never get to you. They have never gotten to you. They couldn't get a ride to you. But you see them in pictures with everybody else. You see them at everybody else's address. You just see them everywhere but where they want to be. So, yeah. That's my little story time for that little situation. But the moral of that story is, if you really want to see someone, if you really love someone, you're going to make a way. You're going to make a way to see them. You're going to make a way to get to them, to treat them like you want them, like you really love them or care for them. You're going to treat them the right way. But this shows that people lie all the time. They lie and they just cheat, and they're gonna be this way. You have to accept people for who they are. Medea said it best: if people show you who they are, believe them. And I really believe that. So I'm gonna sign out now. Be happy, be bright, be you, and don't let this happen to you. Let it be an experience, but I love you guys, and I hope to talk to y'all later. Bye bye.
I've been here all night. Ariana.